Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the passive tree here, the Gate of Fates. We're going to talk about the best damaging nodes, the best nodes for damage mitigation, all that stuff so that you know which node to take when you want to create your own build. So if you don't want to use a build online from someone else and you just want to create your own, which nodes are good and which nodes are bad. For example, Persistence Hunting, plus 25% damage to enemies with impaired movement. And then you have something else like this one, 25% spell damage when Force Shield is above 50%. So what is better, this 25% from Persistence Hunting or this one from Beacon for the Lost? We're going to learn all of that today. By the way, just in this example, Beacon for the Lost is better. It's multiplicative. This one is just additive damage. So, all right, we're gonna start with the damaging nodes. So some nodes to note here. Uh, this node is very easy to path through and get 60% crit chance score. Crit is a multiplier, so it will always be good. Wild card is I wouldn't say a must, but like since you already path here for crit damage and you have another crit damage node here, for one more node you get 60% crit chance score. This one is almost always taken by people in builds. Um, you have Immortal Offering here. This one is possibly no, it is actually the biggest damage increase you will get. Uh, it has a possibility to have 7 ailments at 25% each, so that is 175% multiplicative damage. So you have layers of damage, right? In my other video, you can search my YouTube channel. You have I will actually link the video in the description. The multiplicative nodes and um, damage layers explained. So you have the first layer, which is additive, your second layer, which are the multiplicative nodes, and then you have the third layer, which are the true multipliers, like the double damage, stuff like that. And then you have the fourth layer, which is the enemy's resistance score, or something like that. I know Mark of Impurity acts as a true multiplier, and I think it does so because it affects the mob's armor or damage mitigation score. All right, so multiplicative nodes. Immortal Offering. This is the biggest damage increase you will get. This is why you want to get ailments on mobs and kill them while they have ailments. So you get Immortal Offering stacks of that ailment type. I also have videos about each node that most likely each node that I'm going to talk about here. You have separate videos if you want to just learn about that specific node. So Immortal Offering goes very well with Grievous Affliction, which you can now apply 2 ailments per attack. So this is very good since you can usually only apply one. Let's say your Bleeding Edge applies Bleed. Well then, if you take Grievous Affliction, it will apply Bleed and something else, whatever your second highest damage is on that particular skill. So Immortal Offering, one of the best nodes to take if you want damage. Okay, if we're still going for damage, Virtual Stance. In the Probing Weakness stance, this is 10% flat damage added. You get a 10% chance to deal double damage, and this one adds a 5% chance. This is a true multiplier, so if you take these two nodes, it's basically 15% added damage flat, just 15% overall. So that is very good. Of course, you lose 25% of your all res score, so it makes it a little bit more squishy, but it's a big damage increase. If we go here, Which Time Cannot Heal. This one is actually pretty good. If you take Which Time Cannot Heal, always take the node past it. This one is actually pretty good, but it's not as good as people make it seem to be. So when you hit enemies afflicted with stasis, they take 100% of the hit damage again after a 1.5 second delay. So you would think that this would do double damage, but it does not do double damage. It only inflicts non-crit damage. So it is not affected by crit damage. It will only inflict your non-crit damage again after the delay. But it is still absolutely worth it. And if when I start a new character, this is the node I go for first, Which Time Cannot Heal. And then I grab this one right next to it, Dire Juncture, which is a very tanky node. You only take 40% of the damage from an attack from the enemy, and the rest is dealt after a 1 second delay. So you have time to life leech or get a health globe or something like that. So this one is good damage, Which Time Cannot Heal. This is probably the first node I go whenever I start a new character. and then I just grabbed the Iron Juncture right after because it's only a 2 points investment, and it's a big damage mitigation. Okay, we can talk about this one, Merciless Lethality. This one you can take a little bit more at endgame after the story. 60% crit damage and minus 30% damage. So the 60% crit damage, critical damage is a multiplier, guys. So crit is a multiplier. Um, so 60% crit damage is always very good, and you get all these nodes that get you a crit chance score just before. And minus 30% damage, it's only minus 30% from your additive damage. So it is really not much. You will gain a lot of damage from this node. Okay, if we path here then, you get a couple damaging nodes, and then you get Branded Burst. If you want to play a build around dodge, I think Branded Burst is really good. Or if you just want to play a super squishy build, like my squishy turret build, this is really good because if you take these two nodes, basically you get 5 tenet points. For each point, you get 20% damage mitigation. So when you have all your points, you have 100% damage mitigation. The first attack you receive, you will receive no damage at all. And they refill every few seconds, right? So this is a very good damage mitigation node if you don't get hit often. Okay, if we go here, you path like so, you can get fire damage, stuff like that. Your willpower generated is transferred into rage, so you will passively regenerate rage instead of willpower. For attacks build, this is very good. And then this one, Frenzied Blows. Your skill have double the rage cost over seven when you are over 750 rage, but you deal double damage. So this is basically just double damage as long as you have over 750 rage. This is super good to get, super good to get. You have to get this if you want to deal good damage. What I suggest taking with this is this one. Duty to Exterminate. Increases maximum rage and willpower. You get 200 maximum willpower and rage. And these two nodes. So with these three, you get 400 extra willpower and rage. And you can take this one as well for another 150. Yeah, this will make it a lot easier to stay above that 750 threshold and always get your double damage. And then another good combo if you wanna get damage mitigation. Holy Gift here, 4% health globe generation. This is actually very good if you combine it with plus 15 radius for picking up health globes. So when you're attacking, when you're putting up dots like poison, burn ailments, stuff like that, or you're just attacking, you will generate a lot more globes. And with this plus 15 radius for picking up health globes, you will actually pick up everything on the screen. Every globe that is going to be generated, you're immediately going to pick it up, and you're going to be healed for that amount. So this is a very good combo here. Plus 4% health globe gen and 15 radius for picking up health globes. This is also a very good combo with Undertaker. Undertaker, when you have enemies that die near you, they can drop a green globe. That green globe gives you a 30% multiplicative damage buff, and the pickup radius for this one applies to Undertaker green globes, and these globes stack. So the first globe you get is 30%, and then 60, 90%, right? So if you take a lot of globes in rapid succession, you will get an incredible damage boost. So Undertaker is a very good damage node. So it's one of the only few multiplicative nodes that is out there. Okay, if we continue here, not this, not this. I'm just talking about the best nodes for beginners to well, not just for beginners, right? So we're talking about the best nodes in the passive tree right now, as of patch 1.0.13. What is the best to get out there? So there are some that are really not worth it, and there are some that are really worth it. Residual Energy. This one is another multiplicative node, so attacks gain 30% damage from the last spell cast. What that means is this is only for attack builds, guys. So if you look at your skill, you must make sure that it is an attack and not a spell, right? So Residual Energy. Attacks gain 30% damage from the last spell cast. So the type of the last spell you cast is going to add 30% damage to your attack of that particular type. So very good. Let's say you cast Aether Jump, you will get Aether on your Bleeding Edge. You will probably inflict stasis with this, and yeah, it is just a very very good node to get. It's a multiplicative node, part of the second layer of damage. Always, guys, please refer to my video about damage layers and multiplicative nodes. Okay, if we go here, Salvatori Anchor. This is like the most important defensive node that you can take. If you want to build a tanky build, always take this one. It's as simple as that. Um, so usually you will take this with either two heavy pieces or like one heavy and one rogue. This is what the community found to be the best to use. So if you have heavy chest piece and the node pass, it gives you the bonus on your helm as well. So heavy chest and heavy helm, if you have two all res rolls on that, it will double it will double the score, and it will just be incredibly it will give you an incredible boost of all res. With only chest and headpiece with double all res, you can get over 10k all res easily. Easily over 10k all res. So this is very very good. Let's say you play with Frostweave, and so Frostweave is a rogue chest. Whenever you complete a passive dodge, you regenerate health and force shield. So if you have one, let's say you have Frostweave, a rogue chest, and you have a heavy helm, then you get a lot of all res, and you regenerate health each time you passively dodge. So by passive dodge, I mean you have dodge chance here, passive dodge chance. This is what I mean. It is not a roll. This is an active dodge, the roll. I'm talking about passive dodge here. So good combination also, rogue and heavy. If you want, so if you take this one and you want even more tankiness, you could go for this disallowing vessel. Uh, so disallowing vessel will increase your damage, but will reduce your movement speed, and you gain inexorable points every 1 second up to maximum of 10. If you take the node past it, you get 10% all res core per inexorable point, and zero point 0.1 health regen. So if you take this node past it, it makes it even more tanky. You get even more all res core, and there are two critical damage nodes right next to it, so it's pretty good. I don't like this one particularly because it reduces your movement speed, but if you're just looking to be a tank, please take this. It's a very good one, and you're already very close to it. Okay, if we go here, Toxic Emanation, this one is a pretty good one if you want to get your poison stacks, let's say for Immortal Offering, or for yeah, for Immortal Offering actually, just for Immortal Offering. If you can't get your poison stacks, and like usually you can get your poison stacks by getting enough green globes from Undertaker and killing enemies, then you will get your poison stacks because you have enough poison damage. Uh, but if you happen to not be able to, you can always take toxic emanations, and you will always get your poison stacks for Immortal Offering. Okay, let's see here. So these are all additive nodes, right? 25%, 16% projectile. This is all additive nodes. I'm just talking about the best nodes right now that you can take. Okay, Beacon for the Lost. This is another multiplicative node. The 25% when for spell damage when your force shield is above 50%, and 25% to attacks when your force shield is below 50%. Uh, this is multiplicative, and it's pretty powerful, especially for spells. So if you take this with a spell, maybe take Fate Leash, so you will always be above 50% force shield. If you do this for attacks, you have to get hit once in a while so that your force shield is below 50% for this to work. So that is you are only you is gonna know, am I taking enough damage? Am I enough? Do I have enough time under 50% for this to be worth it or not? Uh, if you do, if you are below 50% most of the time, then please take this one. It's a 25% multiplicative and 35% when you take this one. You also have Don's Pious Striker. So when you take these two nodes, you will kill any mob under 15% health when you deal sacred damage. So you will deal sacred damage as soon as you have one stack of sacred Immortal Offering. So it's very good. If you take this one, you can take this one. So this one makes it so you always deal sacred damage. Um, so yeah, this one is a very, very powerful node. It basically removes 15% of any mob's health, including bosses. Very good node to take for damage. If you're having trouble with rage, you can get rage generation on kill here, or you could get plus 25 rage per hit taken. This one works as well with blocking attacks. Or like if you block, this one is still count as a hit, so it will still generate rage. So if you're having trouble with rage, rage generation on kill, very good. If you're having trouble when you're starting out with life leech, you can take this one, feast for the crows, global life leech, pretty good, pretty good early on. And these are that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it for the really good ones. Occult Affliction could be good. Curse does not work at the moment. Curse does not work, so it does not. So for this one says increases the damage received by targets and can be stacked onto them, but it does not increase the damage received by targets right now. So maybe in the future this one will be a little bit better. Um, but for now, I would just skip it unless you're a pure occult build. And that's about it, guys. That is about it for the really good ones. Um, so of course, there are a lot of other nodes like block efficiency. If you're a block build, you could go here to get more block efficiency. If you're a blocking build, and you path through block chance, you could get this one if you're a block build as well with a shield. Um, so let's recap a little bit for damage. All right, for damage, what are the multiplicative nodes? Residual Energy, Beacon for the Lost, Immortal Offering, and Undertaker. These are the four multiplicative nodes, part of the second layer of damage. And then you have the special nodes of the third layer that double your damage, Frenzied Blows, and Virtual Stance. So these two double your damage. You have other special nodes, like Which Time Cannot Heal, that will... It does not double your damage, but it's a pretty good damage increase, and it's always worth it to take. If you take it, always take the node past it. Um, this one is a special one for damage. And which other one is it? This one, Dawn Spear Striker, the Execute. Very good for damage. Very good for damage. And Merciless Fatality, 60% crit damage. Super good. So that's about it for damage for now. If you take Immortal Offering, remember to always take Grievous Afflictions. Okay, what else? For that's about it for damage for now. These are the best nodes for damage. And then you have damage mitigation. If you don't get hit often, Branded Burst can be very good. The best node for defense is probably Salvatori Anchor, and the node past it. You could increase it even more by using Sacred Parry. You have a Dire Juncture it's not a must, but like it's really really good. So it enables you to life leech before getting that other 60% damage. You have Held Globes that is very good with pickup radius. By the way, it's also very good with Undertaker with the green globes. And yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about it, guys. These are probably the best nodes to take right now, at this moment as of 1.0.13. So with all this information, you can probably make a good build and make it your own. And you could always like these are the best ones, but you can always test with other additive nodes. But now you have the base of the Gate of Fate's passive tree, so you can mess around with it a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching, guys.